Hi, Joe. Guess who I ran into?
What's going on, Joe? Listen, I heard that you messed up, man. You picked Stephanie first, bro. You really messed up, man. I thought you had something going with last season. I thought you learned your lesson, but I guess you didn't, man. You got to do better, man. You got to do better. You try again for 49, all right? Try again, you know?
Love you, bro.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Day After Podcast.
What is up, everyone? It is I, Ryan Neo Wayne. Joe, I was out of Bryson when, and Rome had to be there, and I had to catch him up today of what happened with Joe King. Not only last season, how he had no one in the final eight, but this season where he lost his winner pick in the very first episode, and we had to record that for you, buddy.
You having fun over there? You feeling high in your high chair of being able to win one season, and now you're gonna just kick me while I'm down all the time? Is that what you're
Listen,
gonna do?
we talked about this with Dominic last time. You make fun of me all the time.
I never
for years
do.
and years and years.
I only support you. I put you up and I say do good, and that's what I want from you.
Only when I'm in tears. Anyway, we have Jake here as well.
What's up? Excited to be back here talking about a really good episode of Survivor. I really enjoyed this episode, despite the fact that the new era can't seem to get away from disaster tribes.
No,
They love it. I'm positive that production has to love just knowing that they've made a tribe that's going to lose. Like they just have to.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is, apart from like this isn't the most obvious disaster tribe. I think the thing is, it's like you got on the other teams, you have more. The thing is, you got a lot more like well balanced and stuff where you definitely have a good mix of like strategic and brawn. Whereas this time you got a lot of strategic. You do have brawn, but it's not as brawny as like, the Giga Chads on, two tribes.
Yeah. I feel like the purple tribe just has like 6 of the top 8 people. Like it feels so unbalanced. Like
Yeah.
they needed to like switch like Shaheen with like Cedric or something. Like they needed to do like some kind of switch there just to somewhat make it seem good.
Yeah, it's very wild. And we'll get to the decision that Vula does end up making, or the Green Tribe, they end up making a decision to get rid of possibly their strongest member. So things don't bode well for them, I don't think.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It also really sucks for Kevin because like he did injure himself early on, dislocating your shoulder. Like it means that he's also going to be like weaker for the first week, which is super important for pre-merge and doing good. So doing that, and he was supposed to be their David or their Joe. Like if you look at like just pure strength, like he's supposed to be of that archetype. He is not on that same level as those two.
No.
So for him to then get injured,
he only has 2 nipples.
That was a wild opening to the episode. All of a sudden we're just talking about the 4 nipples, but not just that. We also have a deep belly button, and let's see, what were the
disgusting ass feet.
Yes, that was
which means Charity is going to be the D of the season because D talked about her feet. Charity is now going to win challenges with her feet and win the season.
So if you are new to the channel, I hate feed. And so like seeing that and then them making it like so many different shots, you would think that Tarantino was on the island for a little bit and was like, hey, yeah, let's Charity's hot, let's see your feet. I'm like, can we not make this I get if they're doing a challenge and they're like balancing on like the ledges or stuff like that. But yeah, I guess that was something they were talking about, but I'm like, you had other things that they could have been doing to show that they're all getting along and have a good time. I could have done without the humble traits.
I don't think this this is what's weird about this season is like I just feel like the Green Tribe is going to lose a lot and lose like everyone. I feel like the Orange Tribe does not really matter in the grand scheme of this game. I feel like that they're kind of just here, and some people are going to be supporting characters that come from that tribe, but that's about it. And then the Purple Tribe is the main character tribe.
Right, I agree with that. So the Purple Tribe definitely seems like we're gonna get probably like finalists from that tribe, most
Yeah.
certainly. And then the Orange Tribe Siva is just
Yeah.
there for the ride.
This really might be like what makes it feel like an old school season when we just get to the merge. Purple Tribe just makes it to the end, and it's
Mhm.
just like that really could happen. It feels like they're setting us up for like they're trying. Joe is trying so hard to keep Purple together. He wants to keep his people together, and I feel like that's going to be the story of the season. Is Joe keeping his tribe together?
Yeah.
It's something like that. It is interesting because it definitely seems like the biggest focus is from that tribe. Some people are kind of comparing it to I was watching a video from Peridium yesterday, and like, the fact that it just just makes it more apparent on this one. It was like, yeah, it does seem like we have a lot of the same people getting a lot of screen time from there, as well as we see one, it's just like a well-built team, so it's like hard for them not to. I'm a little worried that I don't want us to go back to Survivor 44 territory where it's like, oh, we're showing this one tribe a whole bunch, and then the other ones they get some screen time, but it's like, you know,
Yeah. If
that's
you're
my
on a
one
purple
worry.
tribe, if you're on a purple tribe, you'll always get screen time. Every purple
Yeah.
tribe gets screen time. Yanu,
Ika,
Tika, this
yeah.
tribe, like it's you get screen time. So that's why you got to vote for option B in Survivor 50 if you want the purple tribe of that season to get more screen time.
Yeah. I chose that one because it had teal as well. Because I'm like, all right, it's something different than the other like six colors you learn in elementary school.
Yeah. I feel like I've only heard people say that they picked that one, which is crazy because I
Yeah.
feel like that's the one that makes it's just like whatever, like just people are just randomly going to pick things. But it feels like everyone I've been hearing is like, no, I went with B.
I
I
think
wonder if the producers are giving us the illusion of choice.
Yeah, I think I went with B, but I really can't remember because it really doesn't matter. I would
Yeah,
prefer them to have two tribes, but that's clearly not going to happen. So,
Well, I
yeah.
mean, we did see three color buffs. It is possible that the purple one is the merge buff.
that's
There's also little colors underneath the main colors.
There
If you
are.
guys saw that, so
I did not notice that.
there's a chance that that means that there's like three different try or I don't know, like different things that will have different colors and different ways of going about it. I don't know.
I
Yeah,
think that's just like the pattern and stuff you see on the like
Yeah.
if we look at this 44 buff here, you notice that obviously orange is the most prominent color because it was like the orange tribe. However, you will see, oh, there is red here and there is yellow. It's like
Mm,
orange is the main color, but there are supporting colors to it,
yeah.
that help make out the design.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, this just seems like every episode I think I'm just going to be more locked into the Joe train. Maybe it's because it's got my name but also
Fair.
it just feels so like they're trying to tell us like so hard that we need to like Joe and want him to win.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
No,
I
go ahead,
feel
Jake.
like this is a Tom Westman story. Like we're getting this likable fire captain that's like, in charge, but like, everybody wants to work with him, and he's gonna be great in all these challenges. Like it is the modern day Tom Westman.
Yeah, I see that. I also see about like so for like the first bit of what we saw from the Purple Tribe was, Sar found the idol and is going around telling everyone except for Eva, which ouch. But also you do see later on, and we're going to touch on obviously that moment in a bit, but like you do see Joe, and it's like focus on him on like what direction he wants to do with the game. He's like, okay, she's loyal, she wants to talk to me, stuff like that. And you even see him, yeah, and then the narrative of it is showing the importance of that duo, where he's like going to even being like, listen, Star has the idol. She might. It sounds like she's gunning for you, or she wants you out. you know, like kind of like being very, very straight up with her right now.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's okay to like if you're having trouble solving it to like go to your closest ally. Don't go to everyone but one. That like
Yeah,
literally that is telling everyone that Star wants Eva out. Eva is close to a lot of people. Like she's in the important alliance essentially. She's not one of the California girls, but she's essentially one of the
Yeah.
California girls. So they're going to tell Star they're with her and then just vote her out if that comes the case. I still think I think they're still making the merge. I don't see this tribe going, to be honest. Like maybe it'll happen, but it just feels like I just see that this is going to be like a payoff that's going to happen like way later into the season, not like right now, not next episode.
yeah.
Yeah.
I see like I see that too. I mean, I think this tribe is all guaranteed to make it to if there's a swap,
Yeah.
that could possibly be it. But also most of the new era we haven't really had a swap, so
Yeah.
it's likely we're just getting to earn the merge after 5 rounds again.
Yeah,
So
and when I think about how this idol is designed, about having to go to your camp, like if you swapped when people have this kind of like idol, it screws up people's games.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like when I look at that, I'm like, okay, there isn't going to be a swap this season because you just can't really do that unless like you believe in the people very well that they're not going to find the idol like right before the swap and then you know.
Yeah. It also depends, I feel like, if they compare notes to something like that. If like I will say it is interesting how they've made it different on each tribe too, how they did it. Like in this episode, we saw that it was, oh, you have to take the little pictograph, line it up with the animal, and see where it does, which I will say, in theory, one could figure that out without having to use the animal. But also, I will say, if you, it could be a little bit, I would say that one is a little bit more difficult than the other ones as well.
Yeah.
But I'd also love how you see Thomas and he's like, why don't we just get rid of it? She gave it to you. Uh,
Listen, I loved when he said that. So like, it's a
yeah.
terrible, terrible move. Like, absolutely awful, especially if you're on the winning tribe, because that means that you might just be screwing someone off who's gonna, screw you over later. But I thought it was funny. I was like,
I did too.
yeah,
We're missing
I mean,
villains.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I think potential villain arc for him. I also think it's one of those things where it's like, obviously when the person who is on the bottom or like perceived like it felt like everyone was okay with taking out Star there, they were like, I wish there was a way where we could just stall things out so she doesn't figure it out. The thing is, the more time she has with it, the more likely she's going to figure it out. So I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like everyone on that team is having that moral dilemma of like, what do we do? Because we don't want Star to get anything because she's so easy to vote out. She can't use her shot in the dark.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like I'm definitely not going to just try to screw somebody out of that, but I definitely in this situation I would definitely be keeping an eye on Star to make sure she doesn't find this. So
yeah.
That's too good of a boy, Jake. Like, listen, you have to join me on the anti-hero side where you do things for the sake of good, but you have to be a little unconventional with how you get there.
I
Chaotic good is the best
Chaotic,
way.
let's go chaos. Woo!
Well, I mean, like not like chaos like you, but like in the sense of like anti-heroes more chaotic good.
Oh.
I feel like
You're just chaotic neutral or chaotic evil. Depends on where, yeah, depends on how you flip the coin that day.
Yeah, and I love flipping coins. Now, if that could be how we determine how people get eliminated in our next org, just flip a coin.
oh
God
no.
no.
No, I feel like I tried playing up a villain like in confessionals and that ultimately backfired on me. So I definitely
You
don't
can't
think
you can't escape your good boy roots.
No.
Anyway,
yeah.
No, it's simple. Just be a villain in confessionals, and then make everyone think that you're a good person until you betray them.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Joe, if you want people to take you seriously and not as a villain, shave the neck beard. It'll be much more
I don't
inviting.
even
We all
have I don't even have much. I just have like a little scruff right now.
okay. So he took my advice. Anyway, back to this. Well, it is one of those things where it's like because these picture of the animals are very apparent on any of the cams, even if they're not being shown people talking about it. Obviously, if they're not in the know, they're thinking about, all right, what do these mean? It has to be something clue related. Um, yeah, so I will say with she has some of the letters though the V because like one of the like L could be interpreted as a V, so that kind of like trips her up. There will come a point, like I said, where she's going to be like, maybe it's not a V, maybe it's an L or something like that. The longer she's out there, the more time she has to solve it because she's going to be thinking about it pretty much the entire time when she's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny too. I feel like all three tribes are getting a different phrase out of those letters because we've seen what Vula had listen, Siva had enlist, and I don't know what Logi is going to have, but clearly they gave them different phrases.
Probably silence, because it's
Yeah.
all the same letters.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And so then is that U actually an N? Is that the gonna be the whole thing or something? I don't know.
It's
We'll
possible.
see.
Yeah. But what really annoyed me is how Camilla did all the work for Kyle. And then Kyle gets the he did nothing. He found it. Like good for him. But that's all he did. He like this whole puzzle. He just handed it off and said, "Do my homework, Camilla."
Yeah,
This is a group project now, but you're doing it.
yeah, this is the star football player handing it to the nerd, like their homework to the nerd to have them do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit. I don't know. I feel like when someone helps you with the thing, because like as soon as you claim it, because the beware thing, I think by how it works is because he's the one that opened up the advantage, he's the one that lost the vote, and so
Yeah.
therefore the advantage is his. If Kyle wanted to and be like, "Hey, you solved it. Here you go," he could have done that. However, I feel like it's one of those things where it's like he trusts like Camilla and everything, so I don't think it's not going to be too much. It does like when you put it like that. I was like, yeah, Camilla did all the work, but I feel like I feel like those two are solid too, and I don't think Kyle would just like hog it for myself. I feel like if given the opportunity, he could possibly play for Camilla, and then she be good.
Yeah. So some of the people I was watching Survivor with thought that Camilla should have just kept the idol and not given it back to Kyle. Because technically she could have, because she solves it, she has it there. Like she could have just kept it. But like, how bad of a move would that be? Because that would just literally
Very
burn all the bridges on your tribe just
Yeah.
for one round of safety.
100%. Also, it could put a target on your back.
Yeah.
Because like even though yes, he has a public idol for four people, you never know where someone might be like, you know what, second thought. We've seen it time and time again. Even though you have that strong four, some people might want to make a big move on someone that seems like pretty locked in on the core four, like they did later on this episode with Kevin.
Yeah. Uh, okay. So let's get to the challenge. Always love the water challenge, get to see
Mhm.
everyone kind of be able to do the jump off the thing. I wish that we still had the keys. I like when they jump
Smash
off
and grab.
for,
Yeah.
for a reason.
Yeah.
I hate when they just have to go up there and then just jump and then keep going because it's like
Right.
like some of the fun is like when people are not able to get the jump and then it's like they got to keep doing it over and over again.
Right. Yeah, that is definitely the fun part. I really like this challenge, even putting in the keel hauling part from Survivor Pearl Islands and Caramoan, like
Mhm.
that, where you have to like pull yourself underwater, untie
Yeah.
some things.
Yeah.
Like, I really like bringing this part of the challenge back. So and just like every little part to this challenge was really fun to watch.
Oh yeah. and then I feel like it's one of the ones where there were different, like obviously you have the person with the rope and then releasing the buoys, but the balance beam and stuff like that, and that you know was a huge contributing factor because at first it looked like the orange team was like very much struggling with it,
Mhm.
but it was Cedric and it was Kevin that was like just could not get past it, even though they had like a head start and they were ahead. It was just like those two just couldn't do it.
Yeah. We've seen Cedric be terrible in some of these challenges, like straight up to the point where like their team cannot move forwards in these challenges. And they're keeping him around because they just like him. So his
Loyalty.
his social game must be doing tremendous work because
Yeah,
otherwise he should not have made it past this round, in my opinion, if he
I don't
wasn't
know.
having a great social game.
Mhm.
I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those things where, because like even after they lost the challenge, he was back in camp and he was like, because like I think it was hitting him hard because like he kept messing up, and so he was like, if you guys want to vote me out, I understand, but I'm still open. I want to talk and stuff like that. I think if the Green Tribe goes again, I think they have to make that hard decisions. Like you don't want to get rid of your friends, especially if like for say who basically got I wouldn't say saved or anything, but like like obviously those two are super super tight, and then like it's like, well, loyalty is good and all, but like if I don't make it to the merge or earn the merge even, then it's
Mm.
like, can I really do this? Can I really keep this person along just because they're the most loyal to me?
Yeah. Something's also weird because I mean we're not at confessionals at all, but like Cedric and Justin have some of the lowest confessionals of the cast so far, and they've gone to tribal twice.
Yeah,
that is not good. That is
no.
clearly a lack of care for them as characters of the season. Now
Yeah,
that means either they're out soonish or they're going to be late and then they'll like decide to pick them up way later into the season. But regardless, it means that like they probably are not like pivotal in terms of what we should be caring about right now.
no,
Which is ironic because they were very pivotal in this vote. Like,
Yeah, they
right,
they they literally decided essentially the last two votes. So
yeah,
right. Yeah, it's a bit wild to me that they've given them very little content. I feel like I've enjoyed this season so far, 2 episodes in, but they keep leaving things out of the edit. Clearly, like Kevin's injury, obviously he was irrelevant because he's only in these 2 episodes, so they cut that out because he's not a major part of the season. But then it also reminds me of back in Heroes versus Villains, Stephanie LaGrossa, and that's a little bit different because that's an all-star season, and we know who Stephanie is, so it's a little bit different.
yeah,
yeah.
But it's just funny, like for Stephanie to get content in a season, and then Kevin to get nothing, and he has the same thing in type of injury that happens to him. So
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the thing is, it's like we are talking about a survivor icon versus this is his
right,
first go around.
right.
And
Yeah.
like unfortunate for him, like I don't blame him. I don't think he played badly. I think
No,
we were even talking about this last week with Dominic. It was like him going for Say was the right move for him because it is, like,
Yeah.
you should be a little worried about them having the idol, especially to get to 4 and it's still there because then it's like, okay, if we're these two duos and the other one has an idol, that complicates things so much.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I think if he
I
kept
think.
Stephanie, I think he's definitely way
That
later. He
that's what I was
survives.
gonna say.
Yeah.
He should have pulled the trigger on Say last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Joe had to suffer, and so Stephanie.
Listen,
Sorry.
Stephanie, I really thought she was gonna be like a Kenzie kind of type. Like it really felt like that she was gonna just like kind
I
of make it to the merge and no one ever
no,
targets
I
her.
have faith in you too, dude. Listen, when you base it off of preseason stuff, it's always going to be hard to tell because you don't know what is going to happen. I also feel like it's also tough in the early stages because so much of it has to do with like tribe chemistry, especially for the first boot of the season.
Yeah.
It's like it just wasn't there. It wasn't in the stars for her to do too
Yeah.
well. But
It wasn't in the heart of the cards.
it wasn't the heart of the card. I was making the stars reference because that was
Yeah.
more applicable to the
Yeah.
situation.
I was thinking like tarot cards.
Tarot cards. Oh, it's not what they typically say and when they do your tarot reading, but
Yeah.
I'll allow.
But yeah, no, I was also really shocked that yeah, Star sits out of this immunity challenge, considering that she's a basketball player and the end of the challenge is a basketball challenge.
It was weird because I know they talked about it early on, and that's kind of what
Yeah,
got Star all heated against
Right.
Eva
yeah,
in the first place. But like, especially like near the end, and that being the win condition, it's like it would have behooved them to do it that challenge. I don't know. It could have been a thing of like maybe she wasn't confident in like swimming, or maybe it was like, that's what we already decided. Screw it. Because
yeah,
like it is a very sporty team, and maybe it was like, we can make up for it with that. But
yeah. And like, I mean, we saw the Purple Tribe. They were struggling. If the Green Tribe did not suck at the balance beam, if they did not have Cedric out there falling all over and over again, they easily could have actually ended up losing the challenge because of that
yeah,
decision. Um, so and I when I was watching with everyone, I was commenting about how I did not, Eva's form was terrible. It was this. It was just kind
yeah.
of like
She got
Chuck,
she got like 2 or 3
and
baskets in
that's what I was
Yeah.
at
saying.
least.
She got three in a row, but I was like, that was luck. That was she managed to get really lucky with those, and we saw it because then she struggled to get any more.
Mm.
And the thing is, with good form, that's what creates replicatability, where you're able to like do it over and over and over again, which is something that basketball players learn.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
if you had that basketball player, you wouldn't be relying on luck in that scenario.
True. I mean,
yeah,
Joe was struggling at the beginning as well, and then he figured
Yeah,
out from watching Mitch that the granny shot is the
granted,
best way to go.
100%. And
it,
also Mitch
it's
just being like, just boom, 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 one
Yeah.
after the other, just like crushing it. It was like Orange was struggling, and he's like, "All right, hold my beer."
yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the best way to get control, and that's all you need in this challenge. You don't need to like power it into the hoop. Like, there's no
Right.
need for that. You just need to just kind of make it into that little hole.
Yeah, 100%. Um, I will say also one thing that concerned me earlier, speaking of the purple tribe, with one of the boobies, like Joe just like yeeted that thing across the net and stuck
Yeah.
it, and it landed into the water. I'm like, bro, that's too far. What if it floats away?
That was crazy. I mean, he threw it like an entire football field. Probably
he
not that much, but
he almost got it to the platform. Like it was
Yeah,
it was like right there basically.
yeah.
And then yeah, who was it? Justin, who I saw Justin threw
Yeah,
it.
Justin tried to throw it as well, and
it
it
got onto the net, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it did decent, but not as it wasn't Joe.
No.
no, no.
Uh, I mean, when you have a bazooka for an arm like that, it's like, well, no, yeah,
Yeah.
nah. Um, but yeah, I think I like this challenge. I wish it was a little closer, like it was like last week, but um, just wasn't how it happened this time. But it is interesting to see how it's going to affect things going forward into next season, or not next season, next week. Because like like if they do it, then they officially have the mark of Disaster Tribe. They can still pull it off, but they're still labeled right now with Disaster Tribe. Maybe they can
Yeah.
get rid of that if they're like, oh, if they pull out a victory here, but
Yeah.
I
I
don't
just
know.
I think Mary and Say are not going to get along at all, and that just bodes terribly for any challenge. Like
Yeah.
when I play games, I really do care about early on like the vibe of the tribe. Like you need to have people who
100%.
like each other. If you don't have people who like each other, you're pretty much screwed in some of these challenges. Like you just like you're always going to be fighting this insane uphill battle against yourself. Not even against the other tribes, just against yourself to even be able to do it. and
Harmony is important.
and
Yeah.
so So like the fact that those two are still on this tribe at the final four of their tribe is bad. Like that is not good for like their longevity.
No, this
No,
is just a mess, and I don't know. Like I think it's very good for Say. Obviously, in terms of she got rid of Kevin before he could get her out. However, she still has Mary to contend with. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm trying to think of like who this really benefited, and I feel like she's the one that it best benefits on this tribe.
You think? I think Say is the next to go on that tribe.
It's very
I
possible, but I think Cedric's going to keep her in the game. I don't know,
I
like
think they target Cedric.
I oh no, I think they're gonna keep him. I think what's gonna end up happening is like because they wanted her to use the idol because they didn't want her to be safe moving forwards, and I think that
Yeah,
that's on purpose. Is literally just like we need her to be vulnerable for a future round, but they didn't want to target her when she had the idol. So now that she doesn't have the idol, she is a way more open season for people to target.
yeah. Well, there's a few things about the tribe. One thing that we'll backtrack on a little bit, like the journey. They legit were like, actually, let's go to the journey for a bit because that obviously played a huge role into this tribal council. Interesting way they did it, where it was like hold out, and whoever has the lowest unique number
I like
ends
this.
up being the one to go. So like in theory, you can always throw it, but by like at least increase your odds of
Mhm.
least likely to go by like just throwing out five. But like they were like, "Oh, can we do a practice one?" And then people were on board with the practice one, but Say was like, "No, let's just do it." And so like Say ended up winning, and then Mary was like, "Hey, that was a practice one." And so like they were being, I could not help but have flashbacks from Heroes vs. Villains where I'm like, "Don't let the person we're trying to vote out go and potentially get something." It's like, y'all.
Oh my,
But at the same time, like it's something where all right, let's see what happens because she did end up losing her vote there and like okay, now she doesn't have a shot in the dark. She almost gets like kind of Banu'd in that regard where she doesn't really have anything. Thankfully for her, there was enough discourse and they didn't trust Kevin, and so like they were like, let's just get rid of Kevin. But like you know I feel like that was just like a mess when that happened. I was like, oh, this is gonna be chaos in the tribe.
Yeah.
god.
Yeah. What do you guys also feel about we saw different advantages being here with a block of votes and a steal of votes.
Yeah,
I feel like those aren't equal advantages. Like I feel
No,
steal vote is
no.
better than the block vote, so it's
Oh yeah.
weird. It's weird that they like have this and just randomly, depending on whatever tribe, this person gets a steal vote, this one gets a block vote. Like it feels
well, it was like they were like, oh, choose your path.
yeah,
And so like
but
depend
still, it's just weird that it's like that's decided it essentially.
I feel like it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't, because like some people are like, oh, it's just an extra vote. Everyone, oh, production's being lazy, or like at this way, at at the very least with this, it's like okay, they each have something they can do
Yeah,
with it that's different.
yeah.
Um,
I'd prefer like a temporary idols or something. Like honestly, like
Yeah, with an expiration date. I mean, I
get
don't know what
yeah,
the third advantage was going to be. It
yeah.
could have been something like a temporary idle. We don't know.
extra vote,
Yeah, or
extra
extra
vote
vote.
most likely.
It probably would
That's
have been extra vote. Yeah,
it would have been the decision of the three, which is
yeah, the three. Yeah. That would make the most sense. So I don't know. It was interesting as well. Just because it's like it's a challenge that seems pretty simple when you're thinking about it, when you're looking at it, and then in execution, it's just like how fast can you think on your feet and just to push these numbers in the right direction
yeah.
to get them in the correct order. So
Man, it's crazy. If she won that extra vote, Kevin probably survives. Or
yeah,
I guess Say would have had to use the idol and he would have still gone, but at least like
that's
then
true.
but numbers would have then no longer been on Say's side because I bet you Justin, at least Justin flips and votes Say because he knows that now it's like, oh, it might go to a tie or something if Say doesn't play the idol, so he might have ended up flipping.
Right.
It's still tough to say because when you don't have a vote, you're completely reliant on your social game. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you play differently when you don't have a vote because it's like you have nothing to bring to the table in these discussions except for future stuff. When you have a vote and you're part of the strategy, it's a little different, especially if you're bringing in two. So like
Yeah.
they could have. I feel like there's so many different routes that one would have taken because like you play differently when you don't have a vote as to when you do have a vote because you have that saying power and you can at least you're included on where the numbers are going at least where she was just kind of like told by Kevin and was like, hey, relax, I got you.
Hmm.
And then he
And
did
you know
it have
what? He he
sense.
he did have her back.
Yes. Yeah.
Not in
To
the
his own
way
detriment, possibly.
not in the way he wanted, but he did save her.
True.
On
Very true.
Yeah, I do feel bad because I don't think he did anything wrong necessarily. It was just more so like people had different agendas, and yeah,
And again, he didn't make the move last week. He thought about it and then decided against it and then tried to make it this week when it was around too late.
yeah,
I did want to bring up as well the way to get to the journey is something that Jeff has put in the new Survivor card game. So with the unique numbers, because I've played that a couple times now and with other Vanquish people, and it's an interesting thing. Like how much from that card game is Jeff going to put in this season? I'm actually curious.
all right. I
Nice.
guess we have to open up a box and see what's what.
Yeah. It's a fun game. When I played with Vanquish people, we played 2 nights in a row. I was Fallen Angel the first game, and then I made it to the end and lost by 1 vote in the second. So
How does it work? Do you play like a full season of Survivor, or is it just like how does that work?
So you each get 2 players from the show, and I think it goes up to 6 people playing the game. So there's
Mhm.
12 different players. And so when you're voting, basically every single person gets basically 2 lives in the game. And
Mhm.
so there can also so you're basically playing cards as well. You have the option to steal from someone, to play a card or and then draw. And then there's a lot to it. So that's basically what's going on with it. And then you get a tribal council card and you do have like extra votes, you have idols that you can draw. So then
Interesting.
it can make things chaotic, but once you lose both your players, then you're out of the game.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Nice, nice. Well, I might get it. I'm a huge like board game and card game fan, so
Yeah, it's also made by Exploding Kittens, which is like
yeah.
I've heard that they have a good game out as well. So like, um,
Yeah,
yeah,
they're pretty big in the board game card
Oh
game space
yeah.
as well,
okay,
so
yeah. So the game is fun. I had fun, and so yeah, I totally recommend it.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
No. Yeah. But I think with this one, with everything we had, with things leading up to the elimination and then it being Kevin, I feel like when we got to that tribal council, part of me when I was watching, granted I couldn't hear a dang thing, was like, I am. One of you said something like you think Say is going to go next. I think that could be possible because this is the second tribal council in a row where she's just like starting stuff or like she's getting to fight with someone else. And like,
Yeah,
granted,
Yeah.
Mary wasn't like the target or anything, but it's like you can't keep doing that in each tribal you go to. Eventually, it's
Yeah.
going to catch
That's
up to you.
Yeah, I
That's
like how you present yourself is super important in this stage going forward because like right now and they I laughed so hard when Cedric was like, "Can you control your emotions?" because
yeah, yeah, that was fun.
like that shows like that they know that she can't control her. Like she's going to say what she wants.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the move is good for her, but whether how she reacts to everything is going to doom her ultimately rather than,
Yeah.
when she makes the move.
Yeah. To be fair,
Yeah.
I think even if Mary goes, I think she is like screwed next. I really think that they're like she and people have made this comparison to her being like the Rome of this season, and I
Oh,
see it. It's very clear there. Like she's annoyed a lot of her tribe,
oh,
but
yeah.
she's had an advantage that essentially has allowed her to survive those early votes of her tribe.
Mhm.
The difference is though is that this tribe is more likely to go again, whereas
Yes.
compared to Rome's tribe, whereas Rome's tribe was able to at least have a little break, and then we went to earn the merge, and then he goes out. But I just feel like there's no way that this tribe does not go again. Um,
I
Yeah,
feel it's very likely. I don't know. I feel like Justin seems like the only one that is safe because I feel like all three of the other people there's an argument to get rid of one of them. With Justin, it, like it could still be him and it could be, but like, I feel like if we're looking at the other three, I feel like, yeah, you take out Mary, have more unity in the tribe. You could take out Say because we're worried about her a little bit too, like in future tribal councils, especially if it's like the two of us left. And then Cedric performances and challenge, where Justin, maybe because we're not getting too much, like too much footage of Justin like masterminding things, or maybe, oh, he's playing the best game out of all of us. Was like, well, yeah, because everyone else is in danger all the time of like going home or in the discussion of being eliminated. So yes, of course he's not. So like I feel like the other three are very likely to go home. I feel like the only safe one is probably Justin. And I
mhm.
could be proven wrong next week where they're like, Justin's playing a great game.
yeah,
Yeah.
we thought Kevin was at least gonna survive a little longer than second boot. So
Yeah, I thought like I thought Kevin was gonna start to catch on and maybe play his shot in the dark when it's showing like okay he's reacting to what Say is saying because I felt like she was laying it on way too thick and like I thought he was gonna catch on that something was going on but
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Well, we're gonna see. I'm expecting to see them go back to tribal council next week. It seems very likely. And yeah, I really do think that we're going to see this tribe just get decimated completely. So I was talking to Jake a little bit about this though. There is potentially hope for Mary because in the first episode she was seen making fire, which is super important in terms of like they love setting up the person who makes final four fire making in these early
Yes.
episodes by having them be the ones making fire or like around the campfire tending it. Um, and it felt
There's
like
something fire related.
yeah, and I felt like she had something, and I feel like Joe had something as well with the fire. David mentioned it, but never did it. So we're not going to count that because he never actually went ahead. We never saw it. So there's a good chance that we do get Mary Joe Final Four fire making. Like if we look at like the edit, which they love doing this, they do this in a lot of seasons. Like you can go back and see like, oh, the fire makers usually had some kind of fire related scene
Yeah.
somewhere in the early stages. Um,
Chekhov's gun. They introduce it early, so it's like, oh yeah.
so there's a chance, but there's also a chance that this goes to a final two of this tribe. They lose, Mary wins fire.
It could be that. I don't know. We haven't gotten a full on decimation this season because or not in New Era, we haven't gotten that. To be fair, we
Yeah,
haven't really gotten like full on as in like one person left
yeah,
since Palau.
yeah. But I
But like
can see Say go out next. and then they lose again because Cedric messed up again. They vote out Cedric, and then they lose again, and then it's Justin versus Mary, final two fire making. And
Yeah.
in episode 5.
Not even Palau, like it took like what, I mean, to be fair, they were bigger tribes, but like yeah, it took 8 episodes for Ulan to get down to Stephanie. So five
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
Well, I mean, like, especially that's when they usually have to earn the merge. So, like, in theory, it's very possible. I know in 45, they were like, okay, this tribe, how about we mix things up? Whether that was already premeditated or that was like something where they were like, how about we just do this? They were kind of spared that fate. And Matt Singh, while that team got dissolved, at the very least, it was like, well, they didn't get down to like one sole survivor between the two, and then they got, to the merge.
Right.
So,
And around that
yeah.
time, those seasons were always doing like a swap at 14. So I mean, they like
Yeah.
it wasn't unusual for them to be saved by that at that point.
No. Yeah. But we'll see. We haven't seen something like an oolong in quite some time. Will
I'm
it
here
happen
for
for
it.
new?
I'm here for it.
It's mostly your people, Jose,
I know, but you know
on
what?
your
Like
draft.
this season needs like I think New Era needs something like this where we just like I don't think it like breaks the format, but like it just like really like pushes it to like the limit of how far it can go. Like we need to see an extreme. Right now we've got to a lot of things like almost like it's siding one way or another, but not the full extreme of what it could be. Let's go full extreme here. Let's have this just be like one person makes earn the merge.
Yeah, that would be something. I don't know. I don't like straight up cursing a tribe, but I know their trajectory is not good. So
No.
I feel like it's also harder to get out of that, mostly because it's like if we're talking not only just with challenges, like you have the luxury of like sitting people out for challenges when you do when you have more people on your team than your opponent's team.
Mhm.
But like one thing that I don't think gets talked about enough is that then the chores of the tribe is split, evenly amongst the 5 or 4 or 3. And so like they're more tired because they're pulling more weight because they don't have as many people. So I feel I feel especially with smaller casts like this, it's more prone to a disaster tribe because once you lose one person, you're at a major disadvantage just with the resources you have and what you have to do around the camp just to like keep life going. Plus you
Yeah.
don't have Flint, so it's just like it just kind of stacks and stacks and stacks.
Yeah. I also think that they
Yeah.
really needed to like have the Orange Tribe lose one of these early challenges. Because now that they get to sit out some of their weaker people, it really now makes it feel like now they're facing two like real behemoths, real Goliaths. Whereas at least at the beginning, like there were some people on the Orange Tribe who aren't like super physical, like Camilla is not like going to be this challenge beast in the early stages of this game. So so now that they can keep sitting out people like her, they can sit out Chrissy as well. If Chrissy wants to sit out Charity, if Charity wants to sit out, like now there's a little more options for them to kind of like
Yeah.
to
They
to move.
they did fix the rule though since Claire and 44 where they did say that you back-to-back challenges applies to actual like,
Yeah.
back to back, not just new episode cycles.
Yeah, but that's where it's going to get weird is
Right.
later on if you're sitting out 4 people in a
Right.
round, you have to sit out people back to back. You
Well,
can't.
right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's gonna get messy.
Yes,
It will.
and that's a great thing. That if that is now we can break a survivor rule and like make the logistics of them in the behind the scenes, like let them freak out a little bit. Like that's when we get some fun stuff, is when they're like, oh shit, now we gotta like figure out what's happening right now on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could
I don't know.
put reward challenges in the next couple episodes to fix that problem. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
they
I
usually
think
do
the
it
tough
like
thing
episode 4 or something. I think they start doing those.
Mhm.
I think sometimes the tough thing with that though is that then you just keep your good players for immunity.
Right.
Yeah.
It can easily just go that route. I feel all right, because next we did see some of the people that were sitting out on the next time on Survivor. I think if memory serves me, I think Kyle was one of the sit outs, and then one of the ladies was next to her, next to him. So like, it's also sometimes dependent on what the challenge is. Like this one, they didn't need a puzzle maker. And obviously with Camilla being like, very super smart, playing a lot of video games and, broke the or figured out the like cryptogram and everything. It's like, you know, it's okay to let her sit out this challenge because we'd rather her be in next episode where there's potentially a puzzle making element. So I say it's playable. We'll see how it goes. Who knows? Maybe it's not the disaster tribe. The green team, that was the piece they needed to move forward. I like being optimistic, even if it doesn't seem possible. But we like hope. Hope is great.
Yeah, if you lose 3 challenges, 3 immunities pre-merge, you're the disaster tribe. They're 1 away. Absolutely no. There's no way that they win all these immunities to get to the earn the merge. There's just no way.
No.
It's hard, but it is still in the realm of possibility.
They look like they don't want to be there. Like straight up. Some of those people are like just in depression mode. It felt like when they got to
Yeah.
the challenge, they were just. It felt like they were already kind of like giving up.
Mhm.
When you hear them in confessionals, they are like, "We're going a lot." That means that they're already assuming they're losing these challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Me, I don't want to be like say, oh, it's cut and try. This is going to happen, and it's just going to be that way. Usually I'm wrong when I say when I say, oh, it's not going to be that cut and try. It usually is, but like at the same time, it's like in the sense of like I like to keep an open mind going into next week's episode that maybe it'll be something different.
Yeah, well, I can't wait for you to be wrong next week, and we can talk about it.
Of course, Joe can't wait for me to be wrong.
No, I'm supporting you. I'm putting you up, telling you, you know what? I'm rooting for your opinions here.
I would believe it more if you didn't have that goofy ass smirk on your face.
What do you mean? This is just my face.
No, you have the little side, and it's just like like if I didn't know that was just your smile, I would have thought you got you know possessed by the smile monster and was like,
Someone in the last game, I suppress this when I play games like as much as I can, or whenever I have my evil mischievous stuff. But then like at the final tribal, I like revealed it, and someone on the jury was like, "Oh my gosh, Joe's scaring me."
oh yeah, the evil smile.
Yeah, yeah. I said I was a chaos gremlin, and they were like, "Oh, he's looking like it right now."
You are the chaos gremlin.
One and only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right.
okay. Should we go to confessionals, or is there anything else anyone wants to talk about?
I guess a little bit on to kind of go back to the jury. So or journey, Mitch got the block a vote and made it very public, and it seemed like Thomas kind of kept his a little vague of like, oh, like yeah, if memory serves me correctly, he was just like, yeah, I didn't get to play, or I just chose not to play because I didn't want to lose my vote. And so like it just kind of goes to the different strategies and where people might move forward with them.
Yeah, it's actually interesting because it almost at first seemed like it was a good thing Mitch shared the info with the tribe, but I do see like, it looks like Charity and Mitch are like a duo, and there's a good chance that they end up just voting Mitch because he now has this power that if they survive later, like that could get used against them. So if they do go, I actually think now like it went from maybe going from Charity to Mitch. Like there's a chance that it like it's swung a little bit, which is always the fear. Like if you get something in a journey, that's not the tribe's advantage. That is your advantage. You can try to sling that as much as you want, that it's for everyone. It's not. It is for your sole gameplay. And
Yeah.
if they're afraid that he's maybe not as like tight as some of the other people on the tribe, like that is now dangerous. Is having someone who is not like one of your top allies have an advantage.
100%. Yeah. And unfortunately for him too, it's one of the ones where it's not as good as the steal a vote.
Yeah.
You get to block someone's vote, which is good, but it's like it doesn't help out with the numbers as much as it does with steal a vote, where if it was them, they could at least try and tie it, whereas a block a vote is just like, oh, you can't really do anything because, or like with a block vote, it's like, oh, that just means it's 3-2 instead of 4-2.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else or confessionals?
Let's have the
Confessionals, because we
Okay.
value screen time on this channel.
Okay. Real quick, I just saw Bianca made a comment on the where I find the confessionals, and she's like, "Yay, me getting purpled on Survivor 48."
No.
We love when the players are aware of it.
Well, I mean, like they're watching the same thing, and it's
Right.
like, because they're out there, they want their screen time too. It's like I was out there, I want to feel like I was important to the narrative
Right.
of the season, not just
Absolutely.
talking about, you know, my our what do they call it? Their humble trait,
Humble
you know.
traits. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would not want to be
Yeah.
talking about whatever.
Yeah, I'll be honest, like we have not talked really much about Bianca in our two recaps, Ryan. It's she's not really.
Except that she's on the bottom really, and they
Yeah,
kept showing her feet too
but even
much.
that, it felt like Star was more on the bottom than Bianca. So it's like, you know.
That's fair.
Okay, let's get into confessionals here. Jake, I'm not sure if you know, but Say did break the confessional record in the
Yeah.
premiere.
Mhm.
So she's at first place right now with 28 confessionals
Yeah,
total.
I saw that this morning of like where the confessionals stood, and I did
Yeah.
remember from your first recap you said
Yeah.
you got so many. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. It's weird because I really think she's not like long for the game. So either she's like somehow going to be like this crazy story of her getting to the end and winning this thing, and it's just like, how did this happen? They just gave a pre-merge person that record over
Yeah, I
Tony.
don't. That's what makes me think she's maybe not get to the end, but that she's going to be important
Yeah.
because she is entertaining. No matter what, she is entertaining. You can say what about her gameplay, she brings entertainment. But yeah, I still stand by the theory that the editors are not just going to give that title to anyone, because
It's
at the end of the day, it's the editors and producers that choose who gets the
yeah.
more confessionals.
It was weird that it was a premiere episode too, because
That too.
that's typically premieres that are trying really hard to make everyone seem important. I felt like this premiere, they had their favorites. They had people they wanted to show, and then they had
Yeah.
people they didn't want to show. So
Yeah, compared to the other New Era seasons, this definitely felt like they like you said, they wanted to highlight particular people. And I don't think they've been that like pointed in some of the other New Era seasons. So
yeah, when you have 2 hours, everyone should, in my opinion, have like three confessionals at least. Like we need to see everyone at least a little bit.
right, right.
I
um
agree.
So yeah, Say is at 28. And then the next highest. Oh, first off, I guess I will say because the next highest would have been Kevin, who's at 16, but he's gone now.
Oop.
So so second most confessional getter gone. Next highest is Kyle with 13.
Solid
Um,
number.
yeah, David is next with 11. And then next up we got Thomas with 9. And then we got a
All
tie
right.
here between Eva, Joe. Yeah, just Eva and Joe at 8.
Okay.
Then we got a tie here with 7 between Shaheen, Mary, and Camilla.
Okay.
All right.
Next up, we got a tie here with 6, it looks like, between Charity and Mitch.
All right.
Next, we got a tie between at 5 between Star, Cedric, Justin, and that looks like it's yeah, those 3.
That's
Yeah,
how many did they get?
they had 5. They've had 5.
That is super bad for both Justin and Cedric, like you said earlier, because it's like you've been to tribal twice. In theory, that gives you more screen time to get like, more confessionals done because they tend to like, you have the last like 20 minutes of the episode dedicated to you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's wild because like even Mary, who's the second most on her tribe, 7. That's still like not good. That is not good.
no.
So clearly like this tribe does not matter in besides say for some reason who's getting this content, but also they might. I also think Survivor is the kind of people who just like they'll be like say she's got all these great confessionals, she's the center of all the attention and all the drama. Let's just like give her a bunch of stuff to like make her become big. There's a chance also season 50, by the way, could be a pre-merge tribe. And if that's the case, this makes so much sense if they pump her up and then she goes out pre-merge because they want a really recognizable like pre-merge person to put on that tribe.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
I could see it. I mean, if they're gonna do that, I mean, they'd probably do. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Put Say and like Jelinski. I mean, just as much as I cringe at Jelinski, I think like he's so memorable and iconic that if they did a pre-merge tribe, he would be on it. So
100%.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and then after the 5s, it looks like our next highest is 3 with Chrissy. Chrissy's got 3 confessionals. Not great. And then yeah, last is Bianca with 2.
Yeah. Well, Charity, don't feel so bad. There are some people where they've been way more purpled.
You mean Bianca?
No, didn't wait, was Charity the one that that said that or no?
No, it was Bianca.
Oh, Bianca. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because she was making a comment
yeah.
that she only has 2 confessionals out of that's what 3.5 hours of screen or like time essentially.
yeah,
Yeah. 2.5.
Yeah, commercial, but I'm just saying the full.
Yeah. Which is not good.
Yeah,
Part of me wonders if she actually does make it far and it's just like, okay, she's being shortchanged on there.
it's a chance, but I can definitely already say Bianca and Chrissy are not winning this game. There's no like some people really were like in on the Genevieve hype of like she got no confessionals essentially in the first couple episodes, and then like she had a spike and there's like, oh, this is her story, is she kind of comes in out of nowhere. I don't think Survivor would ever do that story. I just think that's not they want the winner, especially in the premiere episode, to be
well,
featured.
I do agree with that mostly. I do know there's like a story when they go back to edits. Tina Wesson in Australian Outback was apparently the dog that didn't bark. She didn't get a
Yeah.
confessional in the premiere.
Yeah, but that's season 2. They didn't really understand too much about editing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did not. No,
Yeah.
no, you're right.
Yeah. So I like nowadays, if you see a winner not get at least like 3 confessionals in the premiere, like that would be crazy. That would be like wild. It's that like
Yeah.
and I know production says they love the season, which to me means that they are not going to give the winner no confession or like very few confessionals in the first episode.
Yeah, I agree.
100%. Yeah.
So which also is why I think Joe's winning, because I just think that production would love it if Joe won, because they could.
They're
Because
giving him a really, really good edit so far. So
yeah,
yeah.
whenever like a Tom Westman or a Jeremy Collins wins, like they get to like for the next few years just like shout to the rooftops. Like,
Yes.
look at us. We have this person as our winner. He's such a good guy. We got to give this great guy with a great family $1 million. I don't know if he was helping out with the fires in LA, but he's in Sacramento, so I know that they were pulling people from Northern California down to LA.
Yeah.
So like there's so many things that they could like tell story-wise like
Yeah.
after the fact, and they love doing that. They just love doing that shit.
Yeah, they do. So
Okay. Let's finish up here then with MVP and LVP. I think there's a lot of people who deserve LVPs this episode, so I'll let you guys start talking about this first.
Ryan.
I'm gonna let Jake go first.
Oh
For
boy.
me, LVP, I feel like, yeah, there are definitely people, but I don't know. It's like there are definitely people that kind of deserve LVP, but there's no one that is like, striking me like very apparently that there is someone
Because so
that
many
is
people,
worthy.
so many people deserve it, in my opinion. Like so many people did not great stuff. So it's like if you choose one, it's like ignoring all these other people who also
Joe, I am suffering from choice paradox right now. Give me a sec.
Yeah. Ooh. I know Mitch, we didn't mention that he did get some decent content, at least, even if he like made possibly a blunder by publicly sharing his advantage, but he did get like the moment with Jeff with his talking about his speech impediment. But I don't know. I don't think that's enough to make him MVP. I'll probably just go with Joe. I mean, for MVP. I mean, Joe again is in the best spot in this tribe. He is good at the challenges, of course, and again, I feel like that's a pretty obvious pick. LVP, um, just because I really think she's gonna be set up to just have no one on her side potentially. I'm gonna go with Star. I just don't think that this episode was particularly great for her, and like people are deciding whether to just screw her over or not. So I don't see that boding well for her.
Okay. For me, MVP, I'm going to give it to Kyle because he found
Mhm.
the idol. He's kind of like even more locked in with both David and Camilla as a result. I also feel like there's pretty obvious like which two are going to go first if the Orange Tribe loses. So I feel like he's very, very well spot there. As for LVP, um, like I said, yeah, there are some people that are like worthy of it, but I guess because there wasn't someone that was like too hot mess express where I was like, oh God, like this person no brainer. Um, I'm gonna give Bianca some screen time here, where I'm like, because she only had one confessional,
that's
I'm gonna give
terrible.
her
That's
LVP.
that's like the
LV
wrong decision.
Wow.
That's the wrong choice. Like
I
you had
value screen time.
you had like 5 to 6 good choices, and you didn't choose any of them.
Oh, Ryan.
Well, I feel like there was some merit. Like, yeah, Mary had a very, very bad time this episode, but she didn't have a vote and she still made it through at least. Like Star, definitely was like people were trying to not get her to, solve the puzzle and stuff like that, and she told everyone. However, she still has an advantage in her hand. Say burned her idol and also is getting a little um yeah, is still continuing to cause drama at tribal council, but I don't think, even though she's in a bad position on her tribe, I don't think she's in the worst possible position. I feel like there's three people on that tribe, and Cedric, while I do think that, yes, him in competitions is not great, I still think like kind of like what you were saying, yes, what you said earlier, Joe, that his social game is really good. And I think he's at least positioned he positions himself well in this thing and kind of being like a deciding factor in this episode.
Mhm. Mhm.
Man, even your MVP, I'll be honest, your MVP, Kyle, he's one of the ones who I might have even put as LVP for not being able to solve that puzzle. Like, I was like, I'm not putting him in my LVP, but I'm giving him the LVP, by the way. Entire Green Tribe. Just they all deserve to be in this worst
Justin
episode.
didn't do shit.
Yeah, he helped decide that Kevin needs to go home here, essentially dooming this tribe by making Barry and Say still in this game, and Cedric, who is at a challenge. Like he now has to be the David or Joe, and he is not David or Joe, but he has to be as strong as them now for them to have a chance.
Pizza Boy to the rescue.
Yeah, so terrible moves. Star, good choice. I think that's a good choice for LVP. I think Star totally blundered how to share idle information completely. Totally deserved. I am going to give MVP though to Shaheen because I think that he handled the whole situation the best. He had a lot of different people coming to him with ideas of like what he should do, and I think he found a good neutral like middle of like what to do, of like help her a little bit, but not enough that it's like, here you go, I'm doing it for you. Here's your idol.
Right.
You know,
right.
Not only that, he is the first ever Survivor contestant to bring Wi-Fi to the island of Fiji.
Oh,
yeah.
To the island for like the tribal contestants and everything. He's the first Survivor contestant to set up Wi-Fi in the tribe.
Actually, I mean, complete with a plug.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they can charge all of their electronics they have out there.
Yep. Like, cameraman's battery is about to die. I was like, all right, no, buddy, just plug it into this tree right here. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that does it here. Is there anything else you want to say, Jake? If you want to plug anything that you got going on?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, plug the Tribe of Nerds. Go subscribe because these guys do stuff with me, and I mean we do our Survivor shorts, so go check those out. And yeah, a lot of stuff coming up. We've got our own Survivor 48 recap and Australian Survivor recap going up at the end of this week. Traders as well, probably dropping tomorrow. So we got a lot of stuff going on at the moment, and I'm sure obviously the three of us are going to be doing more stuff in the coming months together. Kind of just waiting for the perfect time for a couple stuff to happen, of course. But
exactly, yeah. And shout out to the Survivor Shorts, Ryan. Congratulations, your blind rank of the Survivor 48 people. You put Kevin last, so congratulations. You were right on that one.
Yeah.
It was also the last one given to you, and you only had your last spot available. But good job.
I prophesized it.
You did. You actually cursed Kevin, so congratulations.
I think
My bad.
Also cursed Kevin by telling Kevin that he made wrong picks. So that all of Kevin's picks will go out immediately. So
yeah, I saw your updated thing where
yeah.
And
I saw, I'm like, ooh, it's the Joe King curse.
Yeah. So Joe, Kevin, and Michael in the drafts right now, like you guys are all in the same boat.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty great over here. You guys should try it sometime.
I have. It's not fun.
That's why we need to switch off, Ryan. That's the whole point of this, is to switch off.
But we've had like 5 years of you making fun
How
of me.
about this? How about this?
No, Joe. You've had 5 years to make fun of me. Now I have 5 years to make fun of you.
I want to implement trades that we can trade picks.
We can't do that now. For 49, maybe.
Yeah, no. I think it's fun if like in the middle of season we just start trading picks.
That'd be so weird.
A little bit, but like if you're trying to give me like if I'm trying to give you like Bianca for like David, you're gonna be like, Ryan, no. Like, no. I feel like it's like, there's not always going to be a trade that we'd be too happy about.
I'll give you David for Joe.
No, I'll give you David, or you give me David. I will give you.
I only want Joe from your team. I only mentioned this trade so I can get Joe.
No, I'm not. No, you're not getting Joe. Hell no.
But I know
Hell no
you.
to the Joe.
I like just. It's so clear he's winning the season. It's like so clear. I want it.
It's then you should have drafted him first.
Okay. Well, that does it for this episode of the After Podcast. We will see you all in the next one.
Peace.